Managing pop stars is a hard task for any record label. Not only do you have to go through the trouble of finding someone that looks like a pop star, can act, can dance, and maybe can sort of sing. That part can be touched up with some training and some auto-tune. But you also have to create a marketable personality for them. Turn them into some sort of appealing character, hire someone to write songs for them, hire someone to produce music for them, figure out tour dates, where we're supposed to perform. The act of managing careers of pop stars is actually a hard job. Adding the fact that pop stars are like actual people into the equation, and actual people tend to do actual people things like miss schedules and get arrested. Wouldn't an easier solution to just make your own pop star? That way you don't have to pay for someone's acting, singing, dancing, management classes, and your career will be safe knowing that that person won't, go off and skip their rehab for their drug problem and run away, only to catch them at a McDonald's drive-thru. Once you've at least designed your own pop star, all you need to do is enter a few lines of code, and their personality, their dialogue, their tour schedules can be anything you want them to be. So I have the big record labels like Columbia and Sony already tried that. Well, here's the thing. They've already tried and failed. Now, some virtual pop stars that don't exist in the real world, have tried that and they've succeeded. But behind these characters is a whole army of songwriters, producers, animators and the likes. What these record companies have tried to do is try and force AI to do all that for them. So I guess it's safe to say that our jobs won't be overtaken by robots anytime soon. Even Google's sentient AI wasn't actually sentient, at least not in today's world. And the pop stars in the AI world will continue to be as drab and as even more soulless as the facades these record companies are putting on the pop stars they've already signed. And if the pop stars of today's world appear to you as soulless and boring, that's because their public images are controlled by fat 50-something ridiculously rich executives who have no idea of what's currently cool and trending in today's world, because their research only takes them as far as their For You pages on their TikTok accounts. Imagine these people trying to create a whole human being from scratch. If you're about to click away from this video because you don't want to force yourself to imagine what a human being created from the ground up by a rich executive looks and sounds like, I got you covered. You don't have to imagine, because I'm going to show you the first Metaverse singer I was aware of. Yeah, Metaverse. I'll get into that buzzword later on. Anyways, this is Polar.
Audio Jungle.
I had to pitch up Polar's debut smash hit, Generation Z, by a semitone and add some sound effects and my frankly amazing piano playing skills, just so whatever company that Polar belongs to doesn't get mad about the fact that I made fun of their precious daughter and forces YouTube to delete this video. But you can't mock the Soul Publishing, the company behind Polar, too much. They're really proud of this creation, and they're really, really proud of the fact that with Polar, they can show how, in touch with Gen Z they are. And with song titles like Hack My Heart and My Metaverse, they really, really want to show off the fact that they know what all the latest buzzwords really are. Metaverse, digital, phone, hashtag. These content creative executives want to show that Polar is specifically targeted towards Gen Z and was created for the sole purpose of targeting Gen Z and nothing more. I mean, look at her bio on YouTube. She's a digital creation, and she really wants everyone to make sure that she is. And she really wants everyone to make sure that she's cool and in with Gen Z, because she lists her 4 favourite artists as Don Diablo, that one DJ who's been called the pioneer of 2020's DJ EDM type music, Ariana Grande, a pop star that Gen Z is supposed to love, Olivia Rodrigo, a pop star that Gen Z is supposed to love, and Marshmello, a DJ that Gen Z is supposed to love. Her latest song is called My Metaverse, the new trending and viral alternate digital reality space that's definitely different from virtual reality, which was first released in 2012, and VR chat, which was first released in 2014. And no, I haven't skipped over the hot new song you can stream over on Spotify in the right hand corner. Hashtag No You and Me. You know, hashtags, the thing that people do on Twitter and YouTube and TikTok. That cool and futuristic thing that Gen Z do that allows their content to be linked to a hub connected to whatever words Gen Z puts in their hashtags, so people all around the world can view it. And Polar definitely knows how hashtags work, because she puts not 1, not 2, but 3 spaces in her hashtag song, something that the modern world hasn't figured out how to do yet. How very futuristic of you, Polar. Also, location, United States. Aren't you supposed to be located in the Metaverse? I guess her futuristic Metaverse capabilities are something that YouTube just cannot handle yet. But maybe I've been too rough on Polar. I'm part of Gen Z, and even though I don't like her song, maybe every other person in my generation does. Maybe I'm missing out on something. There's no dislikes because of course YouTube removed that feature, and the comments are turned off, so I guess there's no way in my mortal realm can I possibly see the influence that Polar has over my generation. But that's okay, with my future Metaverse capabilities, I can go to Google Chrome, download a return YouTube dislike extension, and really see what everyone thinks of Polar. Ouch. That's like Soul Train levels of a like to dislike ratio. Yeah, I did say earlier in the video that the whole AI Metaverse popstar experiment hasn't quite worked out yet. And this is the case for the other 2 AI Metaverse popstars that I'm going to cover. And the most example obvious of a failure to bring a robot popstar into the public limelight is FN Meka. Here's an image of Polar next to FN Meka. Do you see any similarities in their design? If it wasn't any more obvious that the companies who created these AI pop stars really want to market to Gen Z, they could have gone for any other art style to design their AI pop stars. But because their market research is limited to entering stuff Gen Z likes into Google, the creators of Polar, FN Meka, and the other AI pop star I'm going to cover all went for the Fortnite aesthetic. I like Fortnite. Who doesn't like it? But nobody plays Fortnite because it looks pretty. Everyone plays it to shoot everyone else. Epic Games only designed Fortnite in a bright, cartoony sort of way to 1, offer a non-gritty, non-realistic alternative to PUBG that kids can play, and most importantly, number 2, to make Fortnite have low enough of a resolution to be played on any computer, no matter how crappy they may be. They could have designed their AI robot rappers and pop stars to look like anything, but they only went for the Fortnite aesthetic because Gen Z. What separates FN Meka from any other AI rapper is just how weird the story around his creation and his TikToks and his Instagram was compared to Polar and the other one I mentioned further on in the video. So unlike Polar, FN Meka was going for the rapper angle compared to the pop star angle. And the rap game, with its cool, aggressive and often controversial culture was what effin' Meka was trying to be. So effin' Meka's company made him create edgy TikToks and Instagram posts. Like this TikTok where he drops the Andrew Tate, "What colour is your Bugatti?" line. This is during Andrew Tate's peak popularity, and because Andrew Tate was the controversial figurehead of the manosphere movement, where hypermasculine stuff like getting as jacked as possible, as rich as possible, as aggressive as possible, as a reaction to the liberal and generally left-wing culture change that the US was going through. And yes, of course, that is a Bugatti as a private plane, because anything is possible in the metaverse, especially when you're a rapper that nobody knows. And nobody knows how you managed to get that private jet Bugatti plane thing when you've only released one song. Oh, and by the way, effin' Meka's debut single to announce himself to the world was called Florida Water. What could Florida Water be? Some kind of a euphemism for a not particularly legal concoction of some kind? Listen to yourself and come to your own conclusion. Yes, that's an actual screen recording of me trying to play the song. This is the best recording of Florida Water that I could possibly find. I actually can't find the song anywhere. The song actually used to work on this video, but for some strange reason, YouTube literally cuts it out after 10 seconds now. I tried going on to Florida Water's official link to page, but every single link there, from a Spotify link to a YouTube link, is dead. The main reason why the song is being pretty much completely wiped off the internet is that just 9 days after Capitol Records signed effin' Meka, they dropped him. It's robot Meka, whatever this AI rapper's pronouns are supposed to be. As it turns out, the futuristic robot flex that Capitol Records signed turned out to be a little bit racist. Racist and controversial for the dumbest reasons. effin' Meka's supposed to be a virtual rapper created by studio executives. He's not a real person who goes out and does dumb real people shit. Why did a robot controlled by corporate executives get dropped in just 9 days? The first reason is that effin' Meka is supposed to be a black character mimicking a technically traditionally black art form created by white guys. Digital or not, there's kind of an issue with white guys pretending to be a black character just so they can get away with saying the ultimate gamer word. Knowing there was a bunch of white guys behind effin' Meka and pretty much everything he did, this Instagram post, if I didn't self-impose an under 20-minute limit for this video to reach, I could write a whole essay about the exploitation of activism in this modern masterpiece of postmodern art. But let's just pretend that effin' Meka was a real-life rapper, if you insist. If he's getting his ass beat in prison for saying that magical gamer word, probably, then why invite a whole cinematography and lighting crew to your tiny little cell so they can perfectly place you and perfectly light the area of you bending over, spreading your cheeks open, getting whipped by 2 batons, and then whinging about unfair police brutality to an Instagram post they probably made a couple thousand on. This is injustice. Cinematography by so-and-so, director of photography so-and-so, lighting by so-and-so, costume design by so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. And if there wasn't a whole photography crew on set, and there were just secret cameras in the metaverse, I think effin' Meka has a lot more things to worry about in the metaverse than racism. If literal cameras are getting shoved up his ass while he's getting beaten on his ass in his jail cell. Oh, and the third reason why he was dropped? He wasn't actually AI. Maybe Capitol Records had AI help with some things, but FM Meka's lyrics, voice, the beats, they were actually all produced by humans. So why did Capitol Records lie and say that FM Meka was like the first truly AI, musician, from AI, from lyrics to vocals to production and that? Maybe FM Meka was only supposed to be a short-time thing to drum up some bad publicity for Capitol Records. However, not all publicity is good publicity. Controversy draws heads, we all know that. But Capitol Records drew controversy because of their incompetence, their business practices. Controversies only work if they just ever so slightly prod social taboos. Drawing controversy because you tried and failed to make an AI rapper who wasn't really an AI rapper, that just tells the world that Capitol Records is incompetent at, well, finding decent talent that won't get dropped after 9 days. Even Kevin Federline's tour, the guy who was famous for marrying Britney Spears for like 2 days, even the tour for his first and only album lasted a full month. FM Meka couldn't even last a quarter of that. So I've covered a Metaverse pop star, and I've also covered a Metaverse rapper. What haven't I covered yet? Of course, a Metaverse K-pop star. Having some huge conglomerate put their own pop star in a record label's lap would be embraced by K-pop far more than it would, pretty much anywhere in the US, really. You see, seeing these K-pop stars as like individual humans with personalities, it's very much a more recent Western thing. The music industry in Korea isn't, well, at least the mainstream music industry in Korea isn't really centered around individual personalities, and it's not really about. Pop stardom in Korea is less centered around the individual and technically the art, and it's more so associated around a brand like Hyundai and Kia. Even though the American pop industry is, well, the American mainstream music industry is ashamed of its corporatism and tries to hide the fact that each song is written by like 30 different people and is produced by 30 more and is made to be consumable and nothing more. The K-pop industry, both its producers and listeners, actually embraces K-pop's corporatism. Music over there is solely a corporate entity to just be sold and bought by consumers, and they make no effort to hide that all of their singers and dancers are pretty much trained exclusively to be pop stars by the company by day one. So having this virtual singer in the K-pop world, pretty much be created by a corporation from the ground up, it's nothing new, and certainly nothing surprising. Sony Music in Korea have started dipping their toes into the whole virtual pop star thing, and they signed this thing being called APOKI. Really? Again? I get that Fortnite is popular, but Fortnite has never been popular because of its art. I think it's been popular in spite of its art, really. Okay, I'm being a little bit too harsh on the whole K-pop virtual metaverse industry thingy, because APOKI isn't the first and certainly won't be the last. I'm a virtual K-pop artist. They've done it in the 90s, and they've released an actual fully virtual K-pop star who's designed to look just like a human. Apparently her vocals and her lines all written by AI, which with the case of FM Meka might be a bit of a stretch. Who knows how true that is? I'm just going to focus on APOKI specifically because one, this video is getting long to a ridiculous standard, and 2, she's the one with the most recent single that I'm aware of. This is APOKI's latest smash hit, released in late August. It's about early October now. It's got about 10 million views, which isn't bad, and has a pretty decent 80-20 like-dislike ratio, which is a lot better than Polar can say and FN Meka could say. It's called West Swing, and it has a surprising feature verse. When I tried to download that video, every single dodgy YouTube to MP4 site wouldn't let me download the audio. I could keep the video, but the audio, no way. Not even like the sketchiest porn site that doubles as a YouTube to MP3/MP4 converter would let me do anything with this. I know I could have just gotten an audio recording off OBS or whatever, but if even Mummy Milker's forfree.com/MP3 conversion, I sort of had to make my own recording. I hope you enjoyed. The song itself's alright. It's nothing special. It's much better than what Polar and FN Meka could have pulled out of the virtual asses. It's at least acceptable. I just want to briefly gloss over the feature before I move on. Of course, since the Metaverse is apparently a huge thing with American tech companies like Facebook, I'm guessing they decided to bring APOKI here to the States just to see how well the little virtual bunny rabbit would do. And of course, to really sell her to Western audiences, they had to get a Western rapper to do a feature verse. The rapper in question being E40. E40's been the sort of go-to guy for features lately. He's done features for Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and Big Sean. And he isn't as expensive as someone like Carti or Tyler. So it makes sense that Sony Music Korea would choose him to accompany their new virtual bunny rabbit. But judging by his feature in the song, I'm guessing he's not too enthused about this whole Metaverse thing, because he just phones it in. I mean, these verses look like something he wrote on the toilet in between breaks during studio time or something. What have we got here? God, flexing, emojis. He even disses the song in his own verse. I mean, he's clearly just in it for the money. Oh, yeah, Metaverse, just gotta mention a Metaverse thing. Done, send it over. But aren't I forgetting something? Haven't there been other virtual singers and bands that have at least been successful? There have. And there have been 2 in particular that have at least been respected for their music and have actual fan bases. So what have these 2 musicians done? That 5-minute crafts? Yes. This random company that Capitol Records hired, and what Sony Music Korea couldn't do. Well, one, both of them came out before the Metaverse was, well, even a buzzword in the tech world. And 2, actual talented musicians were behind them. Multiple, in fact. Virtual singers and bands, for these 2, are very much clearly a passion project and not something used as a cash grab to hop on the latest tech trend. I'm going to start off with talking about everyone's favourite virtual girl, Hatsune Miku. Yeah, she's been around for ages, hasn't she? In fact, she just turned 15 years old. Hatsune Miku herself wasn't actually really a virtual musician. She was actually a Vocaloid. What Vocaloids were was a way for actual music producers to get a voice out of just like while writing text and entering it into the Vocaloid, and out pops Hatsune Miku's voice. That's how Hatsune Miku got started. Random producers all over Japanese internet would make music in their spare time. Create some beats, create some electronic music, and then put Hatsune Miku's voice over it, and then upload it to the internet. Hatsune Miku's first songs were just done by music producers in their spare time, uploading it onto the internet for free for pretty much anyone to listen to. This little virtual girl already had like over 100,000 unique songs uploaded to the internet, all done by almost 100,000 different producers. There have been actual professional musicians to use Hatsune Miku's little Vocaloid software thing. Just 2 years after the release of Hatsune Miku, this band named Supercell recorded an entire album with the software, and on the first day of sales, the album actually reached number 2 on Japan's version of Billboard, whatever it's called. And now there's like an actual community of music producers using Hatsune Miku's Vocaloid thingy. I mean, she started doing holographical performances nearly 10 years ago. Unlike this Metaverse stuff, which is really just VR, which was also released around the same time, actually even earlier. Having this digital screen show, project, whatever, some kind of 3D anime character that like live on stage with a band behind it, completely new. APOKI can kind of do this in 2022, but this is a professional studio recording with a camera that's placed in only one spot and doesn't move at all. Metaverse is the future, right? And how could I forget about the virtual band that's been topping the charts globally since 2001? Still going 21 years strong. I'm of course talking about Gorillaz. What was supposed to be a pet project of Blur frontman Damon Albarn, one of the biggest Britpop bands of the 90s, has become far more well known than anything Blur has ever done. And that was the band that made that Woohoo song. Yeah, that one. Of course, Gorillaz has fantastic music to back up their cartoony aesthetic, and the lack of them being at a live show. But much like Hatsune Miku and the Japanese internet composers who used her software to create songs, Gorillaz was a passion project. Western music is pretty much central to the artist. Like you can't have music without the character of the artist attached to them. And any virtual band and singer before them was pretty much just a one-hit wonder gimmick. Sorry MC Scat Cat. And of course with Gorillaz, not only is the music great, but the art style and animation is also great. The art behind Gorillaz was created by an actual comic book artist named Jamie Hewlett, who Damon Albarn was a fan of. Jamie Hewlett has built such a portfolio that people are starting to suspect that he's Banksy. It does go to show what a little love for music and art does for any kind of virtual singer. Look, managing Popstars is hard for any kind of record label, let alone the major ones. So it makes sense that to avoid, contract negotiations, behavioural negotiations, them not turning up to concerts, them not turning up to photo shoots, it makes total sense to just, fire up some software and let a computer create a pop star for you. And honestly, for a commercial pop world that's only supposed to get popular and make record labels money, I'm actually okay with AI pop stars. Major label pop music isn't really supposed to be art. It's supposed to be consumed and make money for record labels. But since music, especially indie music, is a form of art, and since art is made for the purpose to remind everyone that we're all human at the end of the day, it's going to be ridiculously hard for any AI artist to overtake the indie music scene. It's going to become especially hard for AI rappers. Part of the rap game is flexing after all, showing off all the material possessions that you bought and earned to show how far you've made it in the rap game. And even though most rappers' cars aren't actually owned by them, rappers' Instagram pages at least give off the impression that the rappers own pretty much everything they put in their Instagram. It's pretty easy to fake owning something after all. And for FN Meka flexing his Gucci Cybertruck in the Metaverse, that's like an 8-year-old kid showing off their Lamborghini that they downloaded for free on Roblox. Unless TikTok and Google band together to specifically get only AI artists to the top of the charts, human-made music will always remain popular. It's going to be difficult to determine what is human and what isn't in the future. But artists who are identified as human will become more respected for being actual musicians than musicians today. Also, Metaverse is just a stupid buzzword for virtual reality. Just call it virtual reality, guys.
Yeah. Hey yo, Donald, it's time. It's time, Donald, Donald.
Hide to block in this slog virtual. So what is
Begin. Straight out the greasy engines of rap. The Pixie Rusty has does my rap. I never sleep, souls to sleep is the made of that. Beyond the walls of drums, life is defined. I think of hammers when I'm in the Ramsay street state of mind. Move the cat, got some crap. My map, don't like no dirty app. Run up and sharpen with a tap. In the Ramsay street state of mind. What more could you ask for? The ugly Pixie? You complain about snow. I gotta love it though somebody still speaks for the Nixie. I'm rapping to the banana and I'm gonna move your Santa. Smelly, hairy, yummy, like a joystick. Boy, I told you, I thought you were a stick. I can't take the snow, can't take the compass. I would try to, I guess I got no this. I'm rapping to the Santa and I'm gonna move your banana. Yes, in the Ramsay street state of mind. When I was in my mate and sick, I was picked up without no stick. I never thought I'd see that stick. Ain't a soul alive that could take my mate's trick. A strong night is quite a light. Thinking of hammers. Yes, thinking of hammers, hammers.